Stephanie Wain, welcome to the Have a Seat podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for those listening, Stephanie is you're a stand-up comedian, writer, actress.
I don't really identify as an actress. I'm definitely more like writer, comedian.
Okay.
For sure.
That's cool. And then you've also like produced a couple of things that I found on your Facebook. Like you have a short film, you did a music video.
Yeah, I've done some like creative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where does that all come from?
All of it? Which part of it?
Just like, so you and I identify with this is that you like to make stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Because obviously you wouldn't be doing that if you didn't enjoy it because nobody's making you do it, you know?
Yeah.
You like to get creative.
Yeah.
Have you always been a creative type?
I think so. I mean, I think that like, I don't know, I guess I feel like it came out of like a need to like express myself because like I like grew up in like a really conservative area.
Where'd you grow up?
I was such a weirdo in comparison to the people. I grew up in like East Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I would tell you
Yes.
like it's like this tiny town called Bangor, but Bethlehem is what I say publicly.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, yeah, it's like Jesus' hometown.
That's in Pennsylvania? Mm-hmm. I thought that was in Jerusalem.
It should be.
It's also
Bethlehem
in
is in
Pennsylvania.
We got a weird
Pennsylvania?
version of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No
there's a
way.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
There's
I
another-
grew up thinking
There's
like
more than one.
Okay, there's got to be.
That's not where
British.
Jesus was not from America.
yeah, but I
was that a
thought
joke?
that for like the first 10 years of my life. I'm like, Jesus is a local hero. Like, this is amazing.
he like went to my high school.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
Is that a
Looking for a
bit?
yearbook.
Is that a bit that you
I
have?
talk about it and I talk about like Pennsylvania Jesus, like in
Okay.
my stand up. Yeah.
That's
Please,
fun. I
yeah,
like that.
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very different guy.
So you're from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not from Pennsylvania, but my extended family is from Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool. What
the
part?
Westchester
Yeah.
general area. Oh, quick shout out.
Not Bethlehem.
Not Bethlehem. Quick shout out to my uncle Ned, who listens to this podcast.
Hi, Ned.
Good morning.
Yeah, Ned, he's the man, and I'm just so excited that he's listening. And I just want to say hi.
Hi, Ned.
Say hi to his face. What are you doing looking at me?
Ned.
Well, he might be listening. I don't know if he watches.
Oh, is this live? This isn't live.
No,
No,
not
it's
live.
definitely
Okay,
YouTube Live right now.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
like
cool.
10,000 people. They're commenting.
It's like, is it Facebook? Is it Facebook Live?
no, it's not.
That would be easier.
So when did you get into stand up? Because is that your main hustle, or are you pursuing everything at once?
I feel like stand up. I did stand up in college, and like when I was a freshman, I did like this TBS National College Comedy Competition, and like I won, and it like our team was like brought to LA, and that was like the first time I was ever in LA, ever, and I was like, oh my god, I got to change my major, I want to come back, like it was so magical and cool, and so I pursued that in college. And then
Wait. Talk about this TBS
Okay,
thing
cool.
that you did. I'm
What
very
is- what is-
interested.
TBS, the channel?
Yeah. It was like a
Oh.
rooftop. It was like a rooftop comedy competition.
Really?
That
I
they
don't know
no
what that
longer.
is.
I don't think they do it still.
I don't think
But it was
there's
like the
anything on
National
TV.
College Comedy Competition.
Okay.
And it was just like a.
So what made you want to compete?
to do it initially?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I always wanted, like I grew up like watching Kathy Griffin. Like Kathy Griffin was
Nice.
my girl. And like she was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like she was so funny, but she was also like, I would listen to her like in her interviews and stuff, and she would always be like, talking about how she was like really bullied in school, and then she'd like go to sleep and be like, I know I'm funnier than them. Like she would just be like very like, I don't know, like
And that's how
angry
you
and
feel?
angsty, and I was like, that's me. That's gonna be me. So like I like moved to LA with the intention of being Kathy Griffin. So I was like, this is part of the journey.
Were you bullied?
Yeah,
Was that something that you had to like?
for sure. Yeah. Because
Like in high school or in college?
I feel like middle school. I feel like middle school forward. Like
Me too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Middle school was rough.
It's I'm working like that's like my pilot is like I'm working on a script about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About
Oh,
middle
that's
school?
cool.
yeah, like just like a
I'm
queer
sorry.
kid.
I'm different. I loved middle school.
yeah.
So you were probably our worst
You were the
enemy.
cool kid.
No, I wasn't even cool. It was
Yeah.
me and my one girlfriend and like our little group, and
Yeah.
like we were just like the nobodies.
I had the best memories from middle school and the worst. Like
Oh,
I had
I
a
had-
best friend in middle school that I was like always doing stuff with, and like we hung out, and that's like was like the pinnacle of our friendship. And then, like, on the flip side, like, whenever we didn't have all the same classes. And so whenever, like, we were separated, we both had just, like,
You
these
did
horror stories.
do it on your own. You were like, fuck.
I had the worst stories from middle school.
What
The worst.
are these stories? Because me and my sister, we grew up in a decently wealthy area of America in Virginia. We went to a very good school.
Oh, good for you.
Thank you. Very proud of that.
Hashtag privilege. Cool.
Thanks to mom and dad. No,
White privilege.
but we, I mean,
it's great.
looking back,
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, like we were very, like, thank you.
Yeah.
But in our school, I never saw any of that kind of bullying that they depict in movies and stuff where people get shoved into lockers, or the only thing that I ever really saw were girls actually getting bullied for their sexual indiscretions or whatever. Like if somebody slept with somebody,
Right.
it was like whispered about. And only one time I heard this girl who was younger than me, I guess she walked through a part of the school where like all the seniors hung out and everybody started clapping because she was rumored to have the clap. And when I heard that, I was like horrified. I was like, that's the worst thing
Girls,
you could do
women
to
are
a
so
person.
shamed. It's so terrible.
It's so terrible.
Ugh, ugh.
But that was like the extent of I never witnessed any physical bullying. Was it like different for you guys?
Physical? No.
No, it was mental and social.
It was like social
It was all
ostracization.
cerebral bullying. Yeah. Totally, yeah.
Like a mental
just-
war.
Well, I was,
was
like,
it
really fat
outright
in middle
against
school.
you, or do you think some of it was in your own head?
No, it was outright.
It was
against me.
outright?
There was this one chick that I was in like 7th grade, and I was like really heavy in middle school. And I remember like I just walked into class minding my own business. There was these two guys, Austin and someone else. I forgot. The other
Austin,
guy's
some
name.
douchebag.
Some douchebag named Austin. And I walk in, they were like, "What's up, Fatso?" And I was just like, "Okay, whatever, cool."
That's so
And that was already like
up.
I was already like at that time like I had already been called fat like 1,000 times, and it was just like whatever, right? So I walk in, that's how I start my day.
Oh my
And then I
God.
sit down, and like there was this girl Megan that was walking behind me, and she heard them say that, and then I walked in, sat down, and she sat across from me, and then she was like they got a point, like you have bigger tits than I do.
Oh my God.
And I was just like,
That's so mean.
Oh my
and I'll
God.
always remember that, and I was just like, fuck. What am I doing here, man?
That's
And it's fine now, but
It made
like,
you creative. It made you like be independent.
yeah,
It
totally,
like made
right?
you turn into your art so that you got it good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
well, a lot of stand-up comedians have like a troubled past,
Of course.
Yeah.
troubled upbringing, which is why I'm like, what am I doing here?
Not all of them, though. I mean, not all of them.
Yeah.
I was just listening to Chris D'Elia talk about that.
What was his?
That he was
he
saying
was
that-
privileged, right?
I think so.
I think
I mean,
he-
if you want to call it privileged,
I was listening to his podcast and he was saying something like he had supportive parents or
Yeah.
He
was saying that
basically had
he's
the
like-
same upbringing that I related to.
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do you listen to Chris D'Elia?
I don't. But
Oh my God, he has a podcast. I'm obsessed.
That's awesome.
Do you
I got
listen
her into
to podcasts?
podcasts.
Yeah.
That's
I always wanted to do it. Like I love the
Yeah.
idea of being like a
When I first met you, like 3 months ago, you didn't listen to
it
any
was
podcast.
longer than 3 months
4
ago.
months ago, you didn't listen to any podcast, and I was like, "You gotta listen to this. You gotta listen to this."
Yeah, so
And
now I'm
that's all
like
you
hooked
do.
on Joe Rogan. I was just listening to Mark Maron and listen to Chris D'Elia's as often and fucking
hilarious, yeah.
what is his name? The comedian he is. I can't think of his name. He was in that show Ed back in the day.
Ed
I don't know. My mom
TED
would.
Talks.
No, Ed. It was a TV show. No, he wasn't.
That's
Anyway,
so great.
this
I
one
don't
comedian is just like reading a book aloud and commenting on it, and
Doesn't
it's
sound like for
so
me.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, if you liked the comedian, then you would like it. But.
Anyway, back to like middle school stuff. What were you,
Middle
what
school
were you
bullying.
saying?
I just like I feel like it came in waves and stages. Like there was like an I Hate Stephanie club. That was
What?
amazing.
For real?
Yeah.
Were
Like
you in it?
Please tell me you were the president.
I wish.
That's
was
horrible.
like-
What did you do anything to warrant this, or were you just the target?
I was a target. My mom came out as a lesbian when I was like in 5th grade, and I was
So
a super.
that's where you got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like it was a really conservative community. So we used to have a lot of like family friends and community. And then when my mom came out, like we just lost everybody. Like it was just like a big like ugh, like I don't know, straight ostracization. So yeah, it was just like really it was traumatizing in that way because like you had a lot of friends that no longer
Isolating,
could
yeah.
come over or sleep over or like So I think
That's weird. Though.
But the kids found out or heard.
Yeah, because my mom dated my stepmom who was a teacher in the school. So we had to like deny it, keep it a secret so she wouldn't get fired.
You could get fired for that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is like Trump's America, Pennsylvania. Like, we're like the red community. You know, it's like...
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend, she lives in Virginia, and she can't have a picture of her wife on her desk, and she's a teacher because she's afraid. Like, you have to, like, come out to everybody.
Wait, where is this?
In Virginia.
And how long ago?
That was only, like, 2 years ago.
No way.
2
There was
or 3
just a
years
lesbian
ago.
wedding at my work, the first one the other day.
Yay!
Very-
Yeah.
Happy.
Is that the right word to use? I'm sorry.
Lesbian wedding.
I'm sorry.
That's really offensive.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
We prefer dyke marriage? I'm sorry. What? It's fine.
There was
Great.
a gay wedding at my work the other day.
Cool.
Yeah, the first one we've had. Yeah.
That's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where do you work? Where they would have a wedding?
I work in Corona at a golf course.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yes.
sense. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, you probably don't know where Corona is, do
Nope,
you?
not a clue. But
Yeah,
I know
it's about
the
an
beer.
hour away.
That's cool. Oh,
It's not
okay.
the beer.
No.
Not the beer. Yeah, it's like an
Nice.
hour away somewhere. Yeah,
Oh.
it's
To
a
the
nice
east.
place. It's a nice place. Shout out to Hugo Glen.
Nice. Yeah, because they
Anyway.
listen to our podcast.
Everyone there listens. Yeah,
We love them.
except for a few people probably, but that's all right.
Whatever. So the I Hate Stephanie
I hate
Club.
70 Fan Club.
How did you find out that this existed?
Oh my God. I think, because it was like a group of my friends that used to be my friends. And then there was like a sheet, like they had a paper. So it was like you could sign up to be in the club. And then
Wow.
that was like also, there was like, that was kind of like this, like not the start of Facebook, but it was like AOL. And like, I remember there was like an online quiz where it was like, my friends made this thing where like if you could choose like, are you friends with Stephanie Wain? And then if you chose like yes, you would lose the trivia question. Like it was like you would lose all the points. And so it was like this online thing that was being passed around. And like it was so uncomfortable because like it was just like this big joke, and I didn't have much of a platform to be like, fuck you, you're an idiot,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that actually would make sense. That's why people were like, I need a platform to like speak.
Just
like
like make yourself
clap
feel
back.
a little normal. Yeah, right.
There was this thing in, I think, high school. Did you ever hear of Form Spring? Mm-mm. It was around the era of like MySpace and when like the internet was like becoming more of a hub for like communities and stuff. And I remember all that the website was you would go on and to whoever's profile and you leave an anonymous comment.
Yeah.
So you could, it was like, oh yeah, leave your friends a compliment or tell somebody that you like them. No, that's not what anybody used it for. Everybody was just like, you suck. I hate you. I got one that was like, you're like, they basically just like shit on like my appearance, and I was just like, I don't know why I have this. I am deleting this immediately.
Crazy.
And I
That's
like,
so crazy.
I was like, why do we do this to ourselves?
Like the original Yelp, but for people.
It was terrible. I did not like that at all. So that was my bullying. It was
Yeah.
awful, guys.
And then you just deleted the thing or whatever.
Yeah,
it
I just was like, I'm not going to be involved. I'm not going to like fight this. I'm not going to give people the ability to just like
you're not. I read that in I read the book. It was like, I'm not going to give you my hate. Like, because like giving that space is like letting them win,
Yeah.
So it was like you don't even deserve my energy, Like
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like it's
choose to
almost
be
what
free
people
and
want,
happy.
and like
Yeah.
after years of getting bullied in middle school and stuff, like I feel like
Yeah.
I just learned that from like a really early age. Just
That's
like
cool.
like I used to get super mad, And there was one time like I got into a fight, and then
Yeah, me too.
really, yeah, there was one time I got into a fight, and then after I got into the fight, I was just like, why am I even caring?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, this is all just temporary anyway. The whole middle school and high school thing. It's all just temporary. Like, I'm just going to be out of this one day anyway. I'm just going to stop letting them bother me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got into a fight though too?
Yeah, there was this kid on the bus. I was dating this boy, and he had a friend who would call me gay. And he sat in front of me, but I was like dating this kid. And he said this like every day, and the kid that I was dating like was friends with him, and it was like really awkward because I'd be like, "No, I'm not." Like, well,
Clearly,
yeah,
I'm
like
this
bully
one.
for it. Like I'm like 13, I'm like, this is my lover, and and he like I don't know, it just got like really annoying. And then I was like on a soccer team, and he was on that soccer team. And I just like kicked him in the shins.
Nice.
Like I got mad and I just like kicked him. And then like he I don't know, I got in like trouble. It wasn't like hard fist fight, but it was like I just
You were
I just kicked
ready
this
to
kid.
rumble.
You didn't like full on box the guy.
I
but-
didn't. Yeah, and then I slapped a kid. I ended up slapping that Shane kid because then he broke up with me, and I was mad because I was like, this is
Isn't
this
it
is
the
because
worst
of the bullying.
when
Like,
you get broken up with because of their friends?
yeah, it was
You're just
so
like,
mean.
be a person. Be a fucking
Yeah.
individual and have your own ideas. You're breaking up with me
Yeah.
because your friends want you to?
Yeah. And I like
Dude, I
chased
get
him
that.
down. I was so, and it was like, I chased him down. I was like, I'm not, like, I literally was like, I'm not gay. And then I like slapped him. Like, I was so mad. And then like, but I'm totally gay. Like, and I didn't even, like, it took me, I came out in this past year, but it's taken me this long to just have, like, to feel the safety to be like, okay, I'm a person. Let's look at this, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Were-
just,
Sorry.
No,
it's
go for
fine.
it, go for
Were
it.
you like dating people this whole time? Like, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 26.
Okay. Were you like dating people? Like, when did you move to LA? Sorry.
I moved when, like, after college. So I've been here for like 3 years.
Hey, me
Okay.
too. We're on the same path.
Cool,
Yay.
yay.
When, like, were you dating guys? Like, you said you came out, but did you always know?
Okay, I know from your social media
Yeah.
that you had, well, also your stand-up. I think you talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
about how you had a boyfriend and then you had to, come out to him and like deal
Yeah.
with that whole mess.
Yeah. Well, it was actually really beautiful. Like he's like my best friend now, and we actually still live together. And
Oh, that's cool.
I'd say that's part of my stand up, but we're like a lesbian, like Will and Grace. Like that's what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are.
yeah.
And like we dated for 6 years. I've known him since I was 10. Like we kind of like were incestual,
Oh,
like we grew up
wow.
together. Yeah. And I think like, I don't know, I think a part of it was just like, I don't know, taking someone and like, cause he's also from a very conservative sort of like family, and like the people around him, like when we were in school, like we're just assholes. But like there was something about him that I knew was like good,
Pure.
Yeah, it was just like there's potential here for kindness. And so like we like dated in college, and like we dated for like 6 years, and we have 2 cats. We're like he like came out, he like forced me to come out truly, because he was like, I think you're gay. And I was like, dude, you're so right.
That's
You're so
like
right.
the nicest story
Yeah.
of coming out.
Yeah, we had
probably.
I had a coming out party on my birthday. He like made the layered rainbow cake.
Aw.
And like it was just beautiful. It was like really, I feel like I wanted to create like a good experience for myself. You know what I mean? Like just like celebrate it and not have it be this like shame showboat kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I always thought I had this weird like every time I got into a relationship in high school, I was always like, if he came out as gay, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
Like every guy I dated, I was
Oh,
like,
really?
if he came to me and told me I was gay, I always thought that would be better than if he cheated on me with another girl, because then that means he doesn't want me instead of, oh, he just doesn't want women. It's like a little, in my head, it's different.
Yeah,
don't
I feel
know.
like that's like, that's like a common held thing, I think, for dudes with like, if they're dating women and then like, the women don't count if you cheat on me.
Well, that's dumb.
But that's dumb, yeah.
But yeah, just for me, it was like,
But
well,
like the ego, I feel like takes it a little better.
yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's. I mean, as ignorant as it may sound, that's how I've always seen it. Like, if I was with a girl and then she slept with a girl, like I wouldn't care. Is that bad?
I think it's bad, but it's like
Yeah.
You were
honest.
wrong.
You're not wrong. It's honest. I mean, I feel like it's just like our
It's
culture
not like-
that
it's not
that
like I
says,
would-
like women aren't threats. Like women are.
Oh no,
like,
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
But-
That's not how I think about it. I just like. I guess
You don't
it
think,
come-
oh, she's a lesbian. Now you think, oh, she had an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
you're
it
not
also is
alone.
women experiment, I think, on the whole more than men, because there is such a stigma of if you do anything with a man, you are gay.
You know
and
what
it's
it
like
is?
we have to label everything.
You know what it is? Is that
What?
like if there's a, if I'm with a girl and I've been sleeping with her for like 6 months or something like that. I feel like we're like together and we have this like thing going. And then some other dude that may or may not be better than me comes in and then starts doing what I'm doing. Now I feel like I'm not as good as that guy. Because if I was, then she wouldn't be doing that with him. Whereas if it was a girl,
Yeah.
You can't do that.
it's not like...
I think the lesbian would probably give her girlfriend better orgasm.
Probably.
Oh, for sure.
Probably, but it's not about that. It's about like a guy thing. Like to me, it would. I think that's what it would be.
Well, I would feel the same way.
Do you know what I mean?
As a girl,
Is
I'd
that
be
bad?
like, I don't know. It's
Okay.
just the way you think.
Okay.
I mean, I think
And
there's a
that's-
lot to like learn. I think the concern is like, oh, you don't see it as like an equally viable relationship. So that's the critique. But I understand like the ego protection and like it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm always open to change my mind about stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, still,
I mean,
like,
if you're not anxious, you're not anxious. Like, why add anxiety
like
to your life?
like
It's chill.
if a girl cheated on me with another guy, the first thing I would think about is his dick bigger than mine?
right. It's about
Really?
the dick.
100%.
That's
And like women don't
stupid
even
to
like
me.
big dicks.
No,
That's so funny.
I know, but like that's just like what a guy thinks.
Unless they do, I don't know. But
No,
right.
no. Can I tell
Some
you
do.
about this? So I was looking at porn
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
other day, and I found this one porn of this guy doing like a massage thing.
Wait
And then,
though, is it you porn?
I think it was Red Tube.
Pornhub?
Red,
Okay,
Red
just wanted to
Tube.
clear it up. Okay, go ahead.
Can we be? I would love to be sponsored by Pornhub. I love them.
We're actually sponsored by xvideos.com
Oh, damn it!
and Mom POV.
Okay. No, I don't want that one. I want Pornhub. No, anyway, so this guy, well, what was weird to me was it wasn't just like a porno. It was like this guy also doing like a selfie talking to camera thing, and there was like a lot of like his social media being like advertised in the video. So I was like, what
So
is this?
interesting.
And so I looked it up, and his name is like Hunk Hands, and he basically like gives like massages and like teaches people, teaches the women and sometimes like men like how to give good orgasms with your hands. And I was like, wow, I am very intrigued by
That's
this.
helpful.
And so so I did some exploring, and I found another video where he basically talks about like, does size matter, was like the question, and he went into this whole thing about how that's not even the right question to be asked. And this is more, I'm talking to you,
What's
Anthony, because like, it doesn't matter. I'm just letting you know.
That, I mean, I agree.
But I think that your knee-jerk reaction to be like, is it bigger? Like that's almost barbaric, and
I know.
it doesn't make any sense.
I'm very aware about
Okay.
barbaric and weird. it is.
Okay, as
I'm
long
just
as
letting
you know.
That's what would pop
I think it's
through
the
my
culture.
head.
I feel like culture teaches us to like compare. That's such a normal.
No, 100%. No, and I think a lot of it has to do with like my past, right? Because like when I broke up with my ex and then she got a new boyfriend or whatever, and like I had like reconnected with her and talked to her a little bit, and then like one night she like called me drunk and was like telling me she missed me and stuff. She's like telling me about all these details with her new guy, and I'm like, why are you telling me all this stuff? I don't care. She's like, his dick is just so big, and like it
Ew.
like
that's so mean.
it
and
really
so insensitive.
bothered me.
That's
that's
super
probably why.
insensitive that
That's
she would
probably why.
do that. That
Yeah, no shit.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably why.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
that
That's
you had to
okay.
go through that.
That's okay.
I'm sure your dick is fine.
It's definitely not small, but it's. I mean,
Let the people know.
I'm not gonna go
Anthony
into
got
detail.
a dick.
Nah. All right, let's move on from this. I'm not
Moving
trying to talk
on,
about
let's
my
talk
dick.
about your
Sure.
stand-up if you
sure.
would, because we are fascinated.
From
we-
dicks to stand up. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, because, okay, so Anthony turned me on to Kill Tony. I didn't know what it was, and then we started watching, and we've gone to the show multiple times, and we saw you perform. When did you first start going to that?
Well, I'm friends with like Malcolm Hatchett, and we did a
Right.
show like, I don't know, probably around Christmas time, and like he had been just like hustling for a few months, so he was like, he like gave me like the the DL of like what places to go to.
Did you meet him at open mics just like randomly?
Yeah, we were just like in a flapper show, and like we just like were groovy. Like he's a really cool guy. So he was just like, come to this mic. So we kind of like followed each other at different shows, and then I just came to Kill Tony's, and it's like you have to go every week, sign up, and there's like over 150 people. It's like the
Now
luck of
there
the draw is
There-
insane.
It never used to be like that. I would
Really?
say it's been like that.
It started really, really tiny.
Really?
It's so it started getting like that probably in the past few months. I would
Wow.
say. I've been going to that show since the end of 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to live like 2 hours away, and I would drive out here every single Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
every
yeah,
single
they just
Monday, and I would-
celebrated with their 5-year anniversary. That's crazy.
Did you go to the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at first I would just go because I loved the show.
Yeah.
And then I started telling my friends about it. These two friends I have, I'm like, dude, you got to come to the show with me. It's fucking hilarious. And at the time, it was in the belly room, and we would go, and there would be like sometimes there would be like 5 people there,
Wow.
and then like maybe like
That's
six or
crazy that it blew up.
7 comics.
Yeah.
And then like 5
Yeah.
or 6 people in the crowd. It was like awkward at times.
Sure.
But I still loved it. And at the time, I guess it was like more of a podcast, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's blown up at like in the last year. And when it first moved to the main room, it wasn't as big as it is now. Like not
It's
even
like
a little bit.
whole production.
There's been a few times when it's been in the main room, and I've taken like people from my work or something, like, you got to come to the show, it's hilarious. And then we go and there would be like 10, 15 people in the audience, and then like just a few comics
That's
on the
wild.
side.
I can't imagine
it's
that.
weird.
That's
Yeah, it's
so
weird. So when I went
wild.
to the the one that we saw you at was like maybe like a month ago or something like that. And maybe 2 months ago. And it was packed. And then I watched that 5-year anniversary, and that was packed.
It's packed like that every week.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they
I love
do
it.
really well. They do so well.
Yeah, I love that it's like that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
When did you start doing stand up?
I started in LA like 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, because you said you did it in college. Right.
Yeah. And then I took like a break because I was in like I did like a writing program, and I was just solely focused on that. And then it was like, things take so long to move out here. I was like, oh, I want the clap back. So I was like, I need attention. So I went to this like Outfest they had like a queer mic, and it was kind of like I was curious. I wasn't out yet, but I was like, I want to go. And so I performed like 3 minutes, and it was just like all queer comics, and they were wonderful and beautiful people, and I was like, I'm in. So there was like a monthly show that they did, and I would perform every month with like new material, and like it just gave me a lot of confidence and like taught me how to like own my identity and just feel comfortable on stage. So that was like an awesome like introduction to just, I don't know, comedy and queerness in general.
And that it has a pretty solid through line in all of your comic.
Yeah, my material. Yeah, it's like I feel like I talk about like a lot about my family, a lot about growing up. I have a lot of like lesbian dating material right now.
I bet.
Yeah,
I'd love a tip.
Are you queer or
No,
like what's your? Okay.
I'm not, but I'm just interested.
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
curious.
just curious. Okay, cool. Heteroflexible. I gotcha.
Heteroflexible.
Yeah.
I like that term.
Yeah.
Because I would just say I'm generally straight, but I'm not against doing anything else. I'm not into limiting what pleasures could be.
You're
Yeah,
a giant open book.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
pretty much.
Very cool. Yeah. No, it's just as terrible as dating men. It's just it seems like it would be better because it's women.
Well,
people are just people and they're terrible.
Yeah, but
kind of
also
the most part.
somebody who's, I don't know how comfortable she is with me saying she's out, but somebody I'm close to, basically like is trying to navigate dating in that world, and the hardest part for her is identifying who is and who's not, because she's already super shy. So to go out on a limb and be like, hi, I'm interested, and then be like, I'm straight, she'd be like devastated. You know, like I feel like that might actually be harder, because it's not like if you see a guy, you're like, that one's available. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to be like, are they not? Or maybe you have a better radar than she does. I don't know.
I mean, I think like honestly, like apps, like online dating apps are like the easiest.
Really? Which
Way to-
ones do you use? Because she's used Tinder, and all she's finding are couples looking for a third.
That's the thing. Yeah, like unicorn hunters.
And she's like,
Did you
fuck
say
off.
porn hunter?
No, unicorn. It's like
Oh.
unicorn hunters. Yeah,
Oh.
it's like called like the third is called like a unicorn.
Ugh.
Because it's like they're
know
like
the
hard to
game.
come by. They're magical creatures. It's like where are
Because
we
they
gonna
don't
find them?
fucking exist. They don't want your dick involved,
Yeah. I mean,
sir.
sometimes they do. I mean, I'm not here to judge people for doing anything, but yeah, I think I'm on like Bumble and like OkCupid and I think Tinder. I feel like it's just, I don't know, LA is interesting because I mean, I think you date like a lot of people that are, sometimes people like move. Like I was dating this girl for 3 weeks. I thought it was like great. And then she just was like, yeah, I'm going back home now. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
And she just like, it was just, I don't know if it was just LA was too much or whatever, but it was just like people like move in and out of the city. And it was just like, kind of like, okay.
I'm actually, I haven't had that happen, whether I'm dating them or just a friend. Like anybody that I've met hasn't like suddenly moved
Just,
away.
like, picked up and
I'm
left.
kind of I'm constantly like, please don't leave.
Yeah.
Because like I like being here and I want you here with me. And
like,
I don't
be part of the journey.
Yeah, like don't give up. We're all here
Yeah.
together.
Is there anybody that you know that's like thinking about going back home or whatever?
Well, I have like Matt and Zach who live together on the east side with me. They neither one of them seems completely settled here or like determined that this is what they're going to do. Like Matt's not even in entertainment and he's doing like commercial real estate or whatever, so he could go wherever. But like I want selfishly, I want them to stay here forever with me, you know, because I
it's
want
nice
them
to have
in my
like
life.
comrades and feel like you're not alone in the journey because it is such a like lonesome road, or it can be, you know. So
Is there any part of you that just wants to be alone? That like thinks that maybe that's just a better route for a little bit?
Yeah, like by myself.
Yeah, just...
I mean, I think that I've learned to to put less, like I feel like my self-esteem has grown from myself. I'm learning how to like pull it from here instead of pulling it from like other people.
That's good.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
good.
So that's been like a journey and just as a person growing. And like, yeah, I just think that's like the big thing is like being defined by how you like yourself and not how other people like you.
Yeah, I feel like so many people get caught up in trying to like be in a relationship or like you got to find that person, your companion or whatever, when really like you have yourself. That's like you're going to die with yourself. Like you always have yourself.
Yeah.
So
And I
you
feel like
better
no
learn
one-
to love it.
Yeah, and I feel like
Yeah.
no one's really in tune with that anymore, especially because they're just cell phones. People are always on their cell phone.
We're
and shit.
we're not taught that that's important.
Exactly.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is not part of some sort of education, spiritual.
Yeah.
I mean, religion has its place, but I don't remember ever like Jesus loves you, but do you love yourself? You know, like
And like, what do you do when Jesus doesn't love you?
Totally, yeah. If you're Catholic.
yeah, or like when they all kick you out or whatever
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. No.
After
you do
that-
comedy, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
after that
Refine
breakup though,
yourself.
that's when I started like really getting like introspective. It's because like after that breakup it sucked, missed her, and then I like was like I gotta fill this hole, man.
Oh yeah.
So I just went and found the next girl that showed me any interest, got her number, started dating her. She lived in like Sherman Oaks or something. I was just like I dated her for like a few weeks or a few months. And it was great. She's a great person. She's a sweetheart, but like I was doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And like it showed, you know, I think. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then luckily she was on the same page and we just split it up. But it got weird. And then after that I was just alone and like you have to sit with yourself and it sucks for a while.
Yeah.
And then you start being like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I should figure this out because like I'm not always going to have somebody. And men are like the type of people that like do need somebody. And I don't want to be like that.
Yeah,
you know?
want to be self-sufficient in
Yeah.
who you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like my rule is like if there's like a concert or like something that like I've paid money for, I'm like gonna bring a best friend and I'm like not gonna bring a date because I'm like I want this memory to be able to look back on it and like have joy, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if there's something cool, I'm like, Becca, you're going with me. Like I'm not gonna bring whoever I'm dating. Like that's bullshit because
Yeah.
like you'll be here and who knows.
Well, yeah, that was like for family
That's a good point.
vacations and stuff. My other cousins were like allowed to bring their significant others, and I never was.
That's weird.
Because
and
my
awkward,
parents were
though.
like, no, like if we have like a family photo and you're whoever for the week is there, that's
much
gonna
confidence.
ruin the picture. Well, my mom is
Yeah.
the same as me. We're super
Yeah.
flirty. We go like, we love to
Yeah.
meet new people. So she knew
Sure.
it wasn't gonna last. And I was like, you know me better than I know myself.
Oh
But
my
yeah, so
God.
there was actually my old cousin, my second oldest cousin, Lindsay. She is about to get married, but we always have this joke because she was the older one, so she actually always was bringing the boyfriends around. So we have this one boyfriend, like Jason or whatever the fuck his name was, and he is in a family photo, and we always give her shit. We're like, why did
great.
you bring him? You ruined that one family
Aw,
photo.
that's amazing. It's also just fun. I don't know. People evolve. I think it's cute to have a timeline of that. Like, I mean, if it is, it is
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is. But
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, I'm also like, I love to love. Like, I love, like, I don't know, I like going on dates, I like going out to dinner, I like having someone to, like,
Totally.
be snarky with. Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I think that, like, I feel like this space does give you time to, like, work on your career, which is amazing. Like, you just, like, do more things. Like, I'm going to way more mics and I'm writing way more. And I just, like, I don't care.
That's something I need to start doing way more.
Yeah.
Is going to mics.
Once you start going, it's like an addiction. And then all of your friends go. And then when you see them going out, you get like FOMO and you're like, oh, I gotta go.
Well, that's what I was actually going to bring up because we have another friend, Matt, who's doing he's just kind of testing the waters of stand-up. So he's going and like going all in and seeing if it's something he wants to do, but he's struggling because open mics are so dead most of the time, or at least the ones he's going to. And then Anthony was saying that it's like such a solo prowess, and it's like stand-ups are mostly like lone wolves. Like, what's your perspective on like open mics and that kind of thing?
You're in this like I follow Malcolm and I follow you now too, but like he almost has like a gang, right?
A gang of comedians.
What?
A gang of comedians?
It seems like that,
Yeah, like a little friend group. I feel like, I mean,
and you guys all go to the same mics and stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel
that sounds supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, especially like with, I don't know, like with female comics, I feel like I like make a point to like connect with other women who are in the same spaces.
Right.
And like we just text each other, like, are you going out tonight? And like try to hit the same mics, or like I feel like it feels safer. Because I feel like, I think too is that like a lot of these mics are run by dudes who maybe aren't the most progressive of people, and they still get the platform. Everybody gets the same amount of time. So, you could be waiting for 3 hours and you've like guzzled like 20 dick jokes, and it's just like how you have to try to be a person.
I like that you said guzzled.
I know.
That was a great use.
Description of the dick.
Just gargled dick jokes.
Gargled, sucked them down.
Guzzled, spit it out, spit that shit out. And so it's just like...
is that the majority of the stand-up?
I wish that like men... This is my... I wish I wish that men could just suck their own dicks so they wouldn't have to talk about it so publicly. That is the dream. I'm just like, damn it. If I have to do another like dick-sucking joke about a guy that wishes he could jerk off in his own mouth, like I wish he could just do it. Because
so you could shut up about it.
Yeah, it's just like an onslaught.
That's a total like open mic thing, though. I think.
Why is that? That's really the only thing on these people's minds.
It's a lot.
I need to get my.
It's a go-to.
Yeah,
it's a go-to. Like cussing
cheap,
is
boring.
Oh, it's a cheap joke.
And it's weird because I don't even know if it does. Like it makes people feel weird, but they never take the feedback.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right.
Is there a thing that women? Because you always make fun, Anthony, about like women talking about their pussies or something.
Oh, like.
Do they actually do that, or women don't have like a thing like that?
I say that like it goes for men too.
Oh.
Like whenever you see someone that's kind of just starting out in comedy, it's always like a go-to. Like I just said, like they'll start saying fuck a lot, or like, or they'll talk about their dick, or like girls will be like, oh god, like I can't stand going out on dates with guys, and then they just want to like plow me, or something. Like I don't, just like those types of jokes, and like I can think of a few comics that like still do them. It's just like so old. Like talk about anything else, you know.
I went to a show. My friend Jackie is doing stand-up now, and she's really good. She did it in college.
Okay.
And she took a class that like teaches you how to write jokes and sort of gives you like a different perspective, like try writing a joke about this, and sort of guides you. And then they had a show, and me and Matt went, and she was really good. She was one of the better ones. But the other people that were performing, there was a lot of older men, and there was a lot of I hate my wife jokes.
Oh my God,
that I was like, I really thought these were done.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought that was over.
I know. It's like you're in progressive California and you feel like you're still in Pennsylvania. You're like, what is happening?
It was amazing that like people were laughing out of like, oh, haha. Like,
yeah.
but
well, it's tension. Like they just create tension, and then any opportunity to release that is the laugh.
Right.
So yeah, it's not necessarily from the material, but I understand. Like, yeah.
And a lot of it, like with comics and stuff, I got to give credit, but it's like a lot of it's just like you're just starting out. And I totally am aware of that, and I get that because I mean I've done it too. Like
You're like, I have
had
12 dick sucking jokes.
Do you really?
No.
Oh,
saying that you
I was
do.
like, what?
You do.
Oh, I don't. No, I don't.
You're like, I have 13. It's fine.
No,
they're actually the best jokes.
Yeah.
The best dick sucking jokes that you've ever heard.
I mean, hey.
It's rare that someone can pull off like a good dick joke. To me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You should spend the majority of
For
your
anyone
time
who
trying
has
to
like a
write
pussy
one.
or dick joke, it's fine. But like if
We
you're just
keep
starting
doing your
out,
stuff.
too.
It's great. It's great.
yeah. If you've been doing it for 2 years or 3
brave.
years though, move on for sure. But
Yeah,
also
yeah.
if you don't have anything else, that's fine.
So where I have never done stand-up, I've been on a stage and talked into a microphone and made people laugh. I'm curious where is it such a cliche to be like, where do you draw your material from? Like, well, I'm actually just more curious about the writing process.
Hers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not yours. I don't give a shit.
Well, no. Well, yeah.
I feel like I try to write a new 3 to 5 minutes every month. So I have a new material kind of fresh, and because it gets I get bored. I do it because I'm bored. I don't like to do the same story 20 times, and I don't know. It's not fun for me if I don't have just new things to say. So I try to keep it more fresh.
I totally relate to that because I've heard that you have to practice, and I'm like, oh my God, how can you get excited about saying the same shit over and over and over again?
It bums me out. I feel like I try to do I have new material and I do it for a month and then I try to write new material. I'll keep, if there's good jokes that do really well that I know are gonna work, I'll keep those for sure.
You put them in the vault.
Yeah, for sure. But if it's there's a show I do, Jamie Shin has the Shindig show at the Comedy Store, and you get 7 minutes. So I always try to do a new 3 minutes, and then the rest of the 4 is probably my better material, But yeah, I feel I generally it's things that make you feel weird. If I feel the trick is if I couldn't say it over coffee, I should say it on stage. So it's
couldn't say it over coffee. Yeah, you should say it on stage.
Yep,
something that was hard to admit.
Or vulnerable, embarrassing, something I would never want to just be let's talk about this. I'm let's talk. I can talk about it on stage.
That's interesting.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Not being able to just say something.
You're just such an open book.
Yeah, because I'm the worst at just spitting shit out.
Yeah.
I'm curious about when did you first see Kill Tony or hear about it? It was through Malcolm? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because a lot of people, and I don't think so, I don't have those boundaries of I don't think things are mean or offensive really. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people think that show's very offensive or mean. Mm-hmm. So
I feel sometimes it can be a boys' club.
It's a total boys' club. I mean, that's an elephant in the room. It's totally a boys' club. But I feel it's also an interesting platform to get, Malcolm is blown up.
Dude, yeah,
I mean, he's
big.
been doing great.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're super supportive and they're super well connected. Yeah. And it's not, I feel it's part of
Until Malcolm, though, they only had female regulars. Ally McCoskey and Sarah Weinshank and Kim Congdon, Melissa Esslinger. They only had those girl regulars.
How often? That was a question I had. I don't know how.
It's
do
not.
Do they run for a year?
No,
do they
it's not.
Have, how do they
it's
do
not
it?
set.
It's not set. Okay.
It's not that organized. I think.
You don't think?
No, every time they blacklist
the
somebody, they're just
that's just a joke.
Speaking shit. Yeah,
that's just a joke. I'm pretty sure it's not for real.
Yeah.
They don't have a blacklist list.
I feel the best material that they get is when someone bombs, because then they can rip it apart
100%.
For them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it thrives on that.
And it drives me crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Well, okay, somebody bombing, fine. Mm-hmm. You can rip on their jokes all day that they didn't know what they were doing.
But
that's fine.
The show.
Yeah,
I know, but I get angry at the person on stage. Yeah. And that's not fair. It's not.
Yeah.
But because a lot of times, one of the shows we went to where almost everybody was bombing and nobody could, because they do the interview afterwards and they are asking them, how long have you been doing stand-up? Or, they just ask them, where are you from? And these people, don't answer. And they freeze and...
Because they're standing on a stage with people staring at them.
But I think most of them are going through their head, how do I make this into a joke? And I don't think that's
Instead
necessarily what they're looking for even. Tony's just give me an answer and I'll make fun of it, but give me something. And so me being an improviser, I'm just say fucking what comes to your head, man. Do it. I don't know. It just makes me so I'm anxious to get on that stage and make something happen.
That's cool. Yeah. I feel I feel like comics go there. Because some people, I mean, you could take it super personally. They can I feel you go there to thrive or die. Comics go there to die. I feel.
Yeah.
And so, because it's easy to be super discouraged, but that's the show. That's what you sign up for. That's what you're getting yourself into. It's a big gamble, and it's that's the risk. But if you can handle yourself, then great. But that's the arena. So
It's not the end of the world, though. That's what I always
No, 'cause
feel like
the
so many
comics
people
come
get
back.
so discouraged.
Yeah,
and
they
then,
do.
and they do well.
A good.
I mean, and people know what they're signing up for. That's why that there's only in the history of that show, I think, there's only been one dude that's ever like gotten so offended that he was like freaking out and yelling back and like
Oh, really?
stormed
Yeah.
out. Yeah. One time though.
Yeah.
Like maybe he didn't know what he was getting himself into. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any like terrible bombing stories? Because like everybody
I'm sure. she
has
does.
to bomb. Well, just anything that sticks out in your mind.
Honestly, I'm just so great. I never
Nice.
Nice. No. I don't know. I feel like well, I feel like there's a crew of us. I feel like the worse you do is just also depend on like how many people are in the audience. So you can
Totally.
like feel like you're bombing, and like the trick is to just stay upbeat. Like it's like it's almost like a monologue where you're just like, I'm going to be joyful this whole time. And so if you get wrapped in your head, like the audience response is like you take it personally. I feel like that really like parlays into you kind of dying on
Totally.
stage.
Like when I used to be in a band and stuff, I would like if we only played like 10 shows, but like when you would play those shows, like whether there was 5 people in the audience or 50, you just act the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally, yeah.
Just act the same, and people won't notice that you're awkward. And
Can I
weird
tell
up
you
there.
guys about an improv show that I saw recently that didn't follow that logic?
No, I want to keep talking to her. I'm just kidding.
Well,
No,
excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Anyway, I mean, I'll make it short.
No, I want to hear it.
We went to, so we're trying to like diversify our improv because we've been doing UCB stuff forever, and it's important to see other comedy. It's also important to see bad comedy so you understand good comedy, you know? So this was a night of bad comedy, and I couldn't even tell you what the place was called because it was impossible to find, and the door was like locked. You needed a code. It was like hard to get into. So I was like, you guys don't know what you're doing because people can't even get here.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get people coming back.
Right.
So we like went and saw the show, and there were like, these were like indie teams. So I guess they like made the teams themselves, and nobody was like, you're good, be on a team. They were like, I want to do it. So it's like, you know, the quality is, but so as soon as we walked in, like silence, almost the entire show.
Yeah.
Nobody was even laughing like in sympathy because it was
Sure.
just like, oh my God. And the thing is, the people on stage were acting, they weren't like, okay, this is getting weird. Like they didn't
never
break it.
acknowledged
They never acknowledged
what was
that the
bad
audience
about
was
it.
not interested.
Which
and
can always
then
be a laugh. Like you could just call that out.
yeah, and that's an easy laugh, or at least, you know, people know that is. I guess they just didn't, or a lot of the teams were like so afraid to even be on stage that, you know, the audience can feel that,
Yeah.
and then become nervous for them, and then it's just like a downward spiral from there. But saying like when when the energy is super low,
Yeah.
you have to bring the energy
Totally.
on stage. If you're at the energy that the audience is at, like it's all just gonna be shit. You have to. You are the performer.
Yeah.
You have to entertain.
Entertain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a show. It wasn't a show, it was a mic. And it was 2-3 weeks ago. But it was like I had been going out every single night for a couple weeks. And I was just so burnt out. And like I took this past week off just to like gain some headspace. Because like the hustle, I mean, you can go like to 2 or 3 mics a night, every night. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So, I did a show and my friends came, like, you know, my comedy friends were there, and I just like got up and I was just like so done. Like I was just like, I don't want to be here. I gotta go, guys.
No, totally, yeah.
And it was just like the MC like knew me and was like, stay, like talk. This is you waited for this. And I was like, I just don't care. Like I just
Yeah, I
got
just wanna
tired.
go.
Today is not the day.
Not the day, guys. So I did like a really kind of like a half-ass thing, and I just like walked off. So I guess that's like bombing, but I also like that was like the call to be like, okay, we need to like
a break.
revamp and re-energize.
Yeah, you
and
definitely
that's-
need to take a break from it.
Yeah.
I've noticed, even just going to shows, like not even performing, but being around such high energy, high laughter, it takes a lot out of you.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so you do need to sort of decompress, come back to like some seriousness and some reality, and then, you know, and go back to enjoying it.
It is really weird how draining it can be. You know, just going
Yeah.
to an open mic and you're there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Or like 3 hours and you don't get up. Like I've gone out when it's like sign ups at 8 and then it just goes and then you don't get up. Or like you go out at 11 and then you're there until 2 and then it's like
The next
by
stage
1
is
a.m.
like
you're
that.
like, do I stay here? I'm like, you just kind of like, could I sleep? I could be asleep. And then it's just like a weird, like, I don't know.
The next stage was like that.
Yeah.
You've been there, right? Yeah, like you sign up and then it just goes for 4 hours. But if you leave, then you feel like a piece of shit because people are performing still.
Totally, yeah.
So
Oh,
you just
that's
sit.
the worst. And watching stand up like that is draining because you want to give each comedian the respect and the applause and the laughter that they deserve, but it's like, oh my God, I can't keep doing this. I have to leave at some point, and then you feel like you're insulting whoever just walked on stage, and it's just like.
Do you know who Mystery Dan is?
I don't think so. No.
Really?
Why?
He's always at
Maybe
the next
on.
stage.
I don't go there regularly. I've been there
Oh.
a few times. It's like not
Okay. I want to say
regular
Mystery.
place.
I mean, I want to say Malcolm would know who he is. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think that they did. He like had him in his video.
Oh, okay.
But he's like an open micer. He's like maybe in his 70s or 80s,
Oh wow.
and he's like always at the next stage. I think I could be totally wrong. But
Okay.
He's always
Does he
like,
play guitar? Is it that guy?
No,
Okay,
no,
it's
no.
not
He's-
Go.
No.
Go. We know Go.
Wasn't Go a woman?
I don't think so.
He was
I
at Kill
don't know.
Tony.
Yeah.
I think.
Go.
Anyway, Mystery Dan will he'll like talk shit about the open micers at the open mic.
Yeah, that's
Like
rude.
he does how shitty open micers are.
Oh, I've seen that
material.
performance. Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's like, what is this
Is
guy
it good or
doing?
is it rude?
No, it's just mean.
Oh.
And it's just, what are you doing up there?
I still get up. Yeah, the feedback.
Anyway.
People gotta take the feedback.
Don't bite the hand
Yeah.
that feeds you.
Yeah.
And he just goes up there and says, like, I'm so tired of hearing everyone talk about the same stuff every week and then leaving and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What
That's
the
like his
fuck?
shtick is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
funny at first. And it was like, wait,
Right.
what's going on now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your favorite open mic?
My favorite open mic. I love my friend D-Lo Kid is a really talented comedian, and he runs this mic called Dare to Flare. It's like DTF, and it's at Echoes on Pico. He does like a monthly show, so I really like that. It's really cool. Like it's a good vibe. It's like you get to sign up ahead of time, so you're told like whether or not you get to go up, and it's also like a mixed performance space. So some people just do poetry, some people just do whatever. So that's like fun. I feel like I go to the Comedy Store. That's like the place I like to perform.
Speaking of the Comedy Store, that's not just like a place to go and perform. Like you have to be invited.
Yeah,
Sort of.
There's like
Sort of?
different like bookers that you can meet. Like there's this guy Jimmy Shin that I think I talked about that before. He does like the Shindig show, and he's like, he's been really cool. He's like put me on a lot of his shows, so that's been super fun. And then just like going to Potluck, going to Kill Tony's. I don't know, going the improv lab is great.
Can go to Kill Tony.
Yeah, there's just like.
But I wanted to talk about the Comedy Store because you just had sort of a big show where you opened for Bob Saget.
Yeah,
You did?
that was like magical.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It was, but it wasn't. So it was like it was funny because we were supposed to have. Oh man, why am I blanking on his name right now? He's the producer of Girls. Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow was supposed to feature, and so I was like towards the end in the lineup, and people just pop in at the Comedy Store. So I went on stage, and then I did my bit, and then I got off stage, and then another comic was like, "Dude, Bob Saget is
Did
like
you know
on
that
stage."
you were opening for Bob Saget?
No, because he just popped in. It was like a pop-in performance, and it was so rad because he stood on stage the whole time I was doing my set, and so afterwards when he got off, he like sought me out and was like, "What's your name?" I was like, "I'm Stephanie Wain." He's like, "You were really funny." I was like, "Nah."
Do you ever?
Oh wow!
Do you
so
ever
cool.
like guys like Bob Saget? Super offensive, right?
Yeah. He's like
you-
dirty as hell. Like
So
he's-
if you meet someone like that, do you have respect for him, or do you are you like,
I
oh, you're a
think
dick?
He
but,
always was a dirty comic. He just
Yeah.
happened to get a clean show.
being someone that's like from like the.
just a feminist is why you're skirting around.
I'm not trying to
You're
say
like
any names here.
a lesbian wedding, is that
Yeah.
right?
Little
Are
Because
you
I would
also a
because
feminist?
there's like a lot of comics that I see like that, and like I'll go to their Instagrams or something, and they just like hate on like so many like male comics, especially big ones like Joe Rogan or something. And I feel like it's
Well, having taste in
almost
comedy
like a
doesn't
battle.
mean that you're like, you hate men. That's like such a low degradation of feminism. I feel like it's just, I don't know. I like progressive comedy.
Yeah.
So whoever's doing it, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't, like, even though Bob Saget is totally, like, offensive.
I think he's offensive and like, it's not like he's like saying, I mean, he is super offensive, I guess, but it's not a way that strikes you as like, I hate women, I want to murder children. You know, like, I think there's like a line and there's like, I think you have to like walk it.
Because there's a lot of dudes at the Comedy Store that have that type of, like, vibe. Like Brian Holtzman. Mm-hmm. It's very, like, old school, like, fuck women type of thing. You know?
Sure.
Like, not fuck women, but, like, you know, just, like, mean to women. Like how you were saying earlier, like that.
I mean, do you like that kind of stuff?
No. I mean, I like all comedy. I appreciate everything. But I'm just saying, like, from someone like you, like, what's your perspective on that?
Because you're more outspoken about it?
Me?
Her.
I mean, my hero comics are like, I love Maria Bamford, I love Kathy Griffin, I love Whitney Cummings. There's
Whitney's great.
Yeah, she's great. Rosie O'Donnell's is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Lily Tomlin. Like, holy shit, Lily Tomlin. Have you listened to like her early character work? It's incredible.
Really?
Like, it's incredible.
Where do you watch her? Just YouTube?
You can get, like, online. I have like I have like comedy albums, so I like listen to that. But it's all like digitized. And like her early work, like she was doing like really progressive things in like the 70s. Like she talked about like having crushes on her teachers.
Oh.
In like the 70s. I'm like, how did you find success like such an early? Because it's just wild how consistent, I don't know, the themes of comedy are. Because we feel like, oh, that's so old. How you couldn't talk about being a lesbian publicly? That'd be crazy. But she totally did it, and it's super funny and super amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Steve Martin, incredible. Mm-hmm. Love his stuff. Love his book. He has like this really great master class. If you haven't taken it, it's like...
Is it the online one?
It's so inspiring. Yeah. It's so good. It like helps you like focus your material, helps you like practice. It makes you... Steve Martin.
Oh, okay.
Because all those celebs are doing that masterclass program thing that
Mm-hmm.
you can like learn all these different...
Yeah. It's like
skills.
actually super helpful. Like that was a thing. That was like a catalyst that was like, oh... Like, I took that class. I was like, I'm going to do this now.
Oh. So
Is
when
it just
did
a video?
No, it's like a weekly thing. There's like 30 videos. It's like a breakdown of like
I'm gonna have to
different
look into that.
assignments. And like, it keeps you on your toes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really
I
helpful.
just watched The Jerk.
Yeah.
Steve Martin for the first time.
Yeah.
Great
And
movie.
because I haven't seen a lot of like the classic comedies like those
Sure.
because they came out before I was born, and like if I wasn't exposed to them, I never saw them. So watched that and was like, just like. I saw a lot of the comedians that I like in him, you know, like it was very like Will Ferrell-y in his physicality and his commitment. I was like, oh, this is where people were drawing from for the people that I'm looking at now, you know, because everybody looks at who's doing comedy. And, you know,
I think like
pulls off of
Lily
that.
Tomlin was like the original Jim Carrey. Like if you look at her
Really?
stuff,
I love that.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, she was doing character work. I don't know. Before, I mean, she's older, so she would be doing it before like the more 80s comics. But yeah, she's great.
Oh, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is Kathy Griffin like your biggest crush comedian? Like if you were to meet a comedian, like
That would like I'd be like
you'd freak out.
Yeah, I'm
or
actually
be
seeing her this summer, and like I've never seen her live. So I'm like, I told I'm going with my friends, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna cry. It's fine. Like she was such an inspiration growing up, and like I followed her career, and I just like felt like she didn't give a shit, and she was like so funny and so honest and so like I don't know, inclusive, but also so mean and so witty and so just in your face, in a powerful way. So I feel like she's like one of my comedy heroes for sure. So that'll be cool.
I know she's a feminist, but is she gay?
I don't think so.
No.
No,
Didn't she like have like some thing where she
has,
like
like, a
went crazy
boyfriend.
or something?
probably.
Not went crazy, but didn't she like do something crazy?
She
recently?
did that
Recently,
Trump head.
she like
That's what it was.
thing.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
she got a lot of like she like almost lost her career, but she came back.
I
And
feel like that wasn't that big of a deal though.
really, it was pretty huge.
Well, it was because the
No, to me,
FBI
like,
started investigating her because they thought she was going to try and murder
But it's
the
Kathy
president.
Griffin. She's clearly just trying to be
See,
funny,
that's
right?
what my point of view was. I actually was like, I get that they have to take action, but like if you're honestly joking and you're a comedian, I think the biggest fault for a comedian is to apologize for making a joke. Unless you're like, hey, I'm sorry you didn't like the joke, but not I'm sorry I made it, I take it back. Because as soon as you take it back, it kind of kills everything else you've said.
Yeah.
I think. Because
100%.
comedians, like what Dave Chappelle's quote is, we have the responsibility to speak recklessly. And I've always, like, I only found it like a couple months ago, but I'm like obsessed with that quote because as comedians, they are the ones speaking the truth and pointing out the flaws in society.
Modern day philosophers is a thing that I like to label most comedians
So
as.
the fact that she took it back is basically saying, I wish I hadn't have made that statement. And I don't think she...
I think she blamed her publicist for that, though, too. Because I feel like, that was like a move from her publicist. Oh, that
sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of fun because she definitely banked on her tour is called the Laugh Your Head Off tour. So she's not, she's definitely coming back, which is great. But I mean, she has like over 20 stand-up specials. Like she's been in
a
it.
baller.
She's a fucking baller, yeah.
She works fucking out. Tell us about your pilot. You said it was about middle school and
yeah. It's like a half-hour dramedy about like a queer kind of like suicidal like kid who has a crush on her teacher, falls in love with her teacher, and that teacher starts dating her mom. So it's just like that awkward dynamic and like just being like a 13-year-old and like having a lot of feelings and not knowing what to do with them. Very, very much based on my childhood and just like experiences in my hometown.
Did you have a crush on your stepmom?
I did not have a crush on my stepmom, but my mom, it's like I always had a crush on my teacher, and then my mom dated my sister's teacher. So it's kind of like combining those worlds in just like a very simple love triangle dynamic.
That's awesome. You said dramedy. Is there like another show that you're sort of feeling the same vibe? Like trying, not emulating, but like
things that like I
something that would be
towards.
Similar, yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know, sometimes I think of it as like a queer Malcolm in the Middle. Or like,
great show.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, I'm a big fan of everything Jill Soloway does. So like Transparent is great. I don't know, like those kind of freaks and geeks like vibes. That's like my wheelhouse.
Freaks and geeks is for sure. Make a Freaks and Geeks too.
Yeah.
For us all.
Yeah.
I feel like
you go to school for creative writing or anything like that?
I went for film video and like I doubled in women's studies, and then I moved out here. And then I did like a private writing program. So I got out of that a couple months ago, but that was like a 2.5 year thing. And that was just super transformative because, screenplays are hard.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's great to focus that and fine tune it. And like, it's a journey. So who knows? But just working on stuff.
Yeah. I'm super envious of writers.
And it's a skill you can develop. Anybody can do it. You just have to put in the time.
Yeah. My patience.
Yeah.
Well, because I always was like, I'm not a writer. And I said that for the longest time, like, I can't write. And then I had a revelation that was like, if I keep saying it, it's going to be true. So maybe I should shut the fuck up and like maybe try it out. So I was okay, maybe this isn't a skill that I've honed yet.
Yeah.
Instead of I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I dabbled and tried. I like wrote a short film very based on something that happened to me. And then me and my friend were trying to write a comedy pilot, which was it was fun. I don't think I could write by myself. I definitely am a person that needs to bounce ideas and be a collaborator.
Sure.
It's very difficult for me to just sit by myself and work on that kind of stuff. Unless I'm like editing, I could totally do like with film and stuff, but writing, I don't feel comfortable or confident doing it just by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good to have, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, other writers to just get feedback, bounce ideas off, just see, like, make sure you're walking in a direction that isn't all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's sort of different, I guess, in that manner.
I like the whole like on your Instagram last night. You were like up at what time?
I was, I drank coffee at like midnight and I went to bed at 2, and then I woke up this morning at like 6:30. So I've just been on a roll. Like I just have like a kind of like a deadline I'm trying to hit. So I've just been like working really hard.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Making coffee at midnight?
Yeah.
Right up my alley.
That's the best.
Awesome,
yeah.
But you got to give yourself deadlines. You got to commit yourself to this because what's crazy in doing this podcast and stuff, nobody is making us do this.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to do it for yourself. You got to be like Anthony gets mad at me because I'm just like, I go crazy sometimes where I'm like, wow, we're all over the place. We need to reorganize and we got to make all this shit happen. And he's
Just
like,
no, calm down.
relax.
Fine.
Xanax.
We're not
Take
getting
Xanax.
paid. Or like when I just went on vacation with my family and I was like working on this
so
because
hard. Yeah,
I was
I
like,
know.
I'm super passionate about it. I want it to be great. Like, so I'm
Same, but you need to calm down.
fuck off. But what happened was my parents like wanted to obviously spend quality time with me, and I was like, yes, I will do that after I'm done with this. Like, I felt like I was like back in the day when my dad would bring his work to the beach, like he'd work and then hang out with us. So I was like, I'm just doing that. Don't you understand? But
Sure.
until you're getting paid, it's just a hobby.
Yeah, no.
People are
the
like, what are you
rest
doing?
of-
yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
like I take this as seriously as I would a job.
Totally.
And
Me
it kind
too,
of, and then people are like, I don't know, maybe it's in my head. They're like, well, you're not getting paid, so like relax, or
Yeah, this
you can
girl at-
skip it, or
Yeah.
This girl at work was like, I said like, oh, I can't work Mondays anymore. It's the day we do the podcast. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast and like Mondays. I can't work Mondays anymore. She's like, oh, is it just your hobby? And I was
So
like,
offensive.
well, I mean, it can be something one day. Like it can be big if
Yeah.
we, market it right and do all the right things and
Sure.
stuff.
care enough.
Yeah, care enough. And she's like, oh, but like you're not getting paid. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, that's
But
just like
No.
the creative
Nobody
life.
in
That's the creative life
Creative,
journey.
paths are getting paid. That's
No,
why.
everybody has a day job. Like you just do
Yeah.
what you got to do to make rent.
What is your day job?
I babysit. So I like nanny. I have like a little baby that I like adore.
little baby, huh?
He's so sweet. He's like a perfect human child, and I hate kids. He's great. He's great.
This is the only good one.
yeah, the only good one.
I found him.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
did you? Whose baby is it?
Just like a couple that lives on the west side. And I think that's like my constant question too. I always question myself because I'm like, oh, I'm putting in so much effort, but to like do the creative thing, and that's what I really want to be. And then there's also like, like entry level like industry jobs that you can do, but they sort of suck your time. And so it's I constantly like wonder, am I spending my time wisely? And like I don't know. That's just like I'm like, should I be working at a production company and just trying to like work up the ranks, or is this where I want to be?
Should I just keep following my heart or work for the man?
Yeah,
That's the
and it's
question.
Well,
like
it's not just working for the man. It's like that can be a strategic route because you get a lot of connections, you get a good salary, and then you can, once you get to a certain level, then you can take the time
Sure.
to do the other thing or whatever. But there was a comedian who was just on Joe Rogan who was a comedy writer for a long time, and I think he because comedy writing is like a great avenue, but a lot of times, you're not working for yourself, you're working for somebody else. So you don't have time otherwise to do anything for you. And
Sure.
he got roped into this life of being a comedy writer for somebody else and was like, oh, I'm not getting that same release of doing and creating for me.
Are you talking about Kyle Dunnigan?
Yes, I am.
Dude, I was at I go to the LA Fitness over here in Studio City, right next to Universal, and I was working out and I look over, Kyle Dunnigan's sitting right
He
next
goes to your
me.
gym?
And I was like, I wanted to say something.
You should say something.
I texted Tierney. I was like, hey, Kyle Dunnigan's like right next to me because she told me about him. I was like, should I like say something? She's like, oh my God, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm not going to say anything because that's weird.
Oh.
I was like, but it would be cool.
Well, you could be like, I heard you on Joe Rogan. I think you're a great comedian. I think,
Yeah.
you
It is
know.
weird when you're like at the gym though.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
I mean, Sterling K. Brown, who is an actor from This Is Us. Do you know who that is?
I think
Which
so.
character?
Does he play the actor
Oh,
on the show?
He's
Yeah,
the dad. He's the black brother. Okay, he's that character.
Okay.
He's a fantastic. He was in Black Panther. He's in He's doing. He
Cool.
was in the O.J. Simpson
Oh, that guy?
documentary.
He's a good
He's
actor,
a
yeah.
fabulous actor, and he was. I just moved, but the gym that I used to go to, the LA Fitness, he works out there.
And LA Fitness?
Yeah.
Man, he's frugal, huh?
Well, I was just like, what the fuck
Your
are
cover
you
has
doing
just been blown.
here? I'm sorry if I'm just like,
gonna find a new
but
job.
the thing is, he's always like he's doing
Yeah.
things, so he's not there at a regular time,
Yeah.
whatever. But I would
You're
see
like 6
him.
p.m. on a Tuesday, but who's counting?
Who's counting? No, but I would every time text my mom, Sterling K. Brown is here, and she's like, you have to say hi, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say hi because I would always think like when people move here, they're like, oh, celebrities, but I'm like, these aren't celebrities to me, these are people that I want to work with.
Sure, yeah.
These are collaborators. These are
That's how
coworkers.
I felt. I was like, maybe one day you and I will know each other in a different way. I'm not going to freak
not-
out and say hi to you
Yeah.
while we're both sweating right now.
Yeah, I don't want to. My first introduction to somebody that I would potentially work with to be, I'm your fan.
Yeah,
That just
sure.
has like this power dynamic that I don't like at all, and so I'd much rather come to you. That's why having this podcast is really nice because I can be like, hey, I have a podcast. I'm also an entertainer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bullshit, but not really. I don't
No, it's
know.
not.
Yeah, you get to like meet people that way and like help. I don't know. You also just get to see people as they rise, and like that's
Totally.
super fun because like the friends you make want to work with you too.
Yeah.
and that's like super important. I feel like people don't realize the importance of networking across instead of networking.
That's
up.
exactly what I was gonna say. Is that we all are the generation. We all rise together. So as long as you're still in it and people, want to work with you, then
Sure.
your chances of making it or whatever that is are higher. Because if you want to work with them, they want to work with you, then you all just make stuff together.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that we emulate, like I was just in this bar the other day where Swingers was partially filmed, and Matt was telling me that I think it was like a independent film. It's how Vince Vaughn got started, and I was like, oh, so like he was us, and he was like,
Right.
I want to make stuff,
Right.
And they did, and then it launched his career, you know?
know.
So we
It's
are
so
all in that
comforting.
position.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
to know that we could do that also. We don't need
Sure.
to. We don't need to wait for Judd Apatow to go. Let me give you a leg up,
Right,
Because that
right.
could never happen.
That might not
And that's
happen.
why I wanted to create this, right?
Yeah.
So that it could be a platform for everyone else that we're trying to entertain.
Yeah.
Can listen to everybody here and
Yeah.
like get to know everybody, right?
Totally.
People on the rise.
Totally.
Yeah.
It'll be cool to look back to like in a couple years and be like, oh, we interviewed them.
Yeah.
Like that'll be rad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also I'm obsessed well, now that podcasting is like really a thing, it's super interesting just to get in the heads of these people that these people that we look up to, or these people that think the same way that we do.
Sure.
As, creators and whatever. So, yeah, if I was looking to move to LA, I think that this would be super valuable to me.
This podcast.
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah, totally. And that's like a huge reason why I like that's where the idea came from.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that think that move here and they don't have any idea what they're getting themselves into, and they just are like, I'm doing it, and those people are probably going to do it anyway. But it's definitely it would
figure it
definitely
out.
be nice to hear stories
Yeah,
from people that are
sure.
actually in the grind.
There were some interviews called Actors on Actors that I think Variety did. It's on YouTube, and it's just they get like Jennifer Lawrence and Adam Sandler, and they just talk to each other.
Yeah.
No interviewer, no bullshit questions. They're just like, how's it going? And I loved your movie, and you were great in that. And they just like talk. And I was like, so like, I was like fiending on it because I was just like, I want to know what they think of each other. I don't give a shit. The interviewer is nobody, almost.
Right.
Practically is nobody. And I just want to hear.
We're somebody, but
Yeah, somebody's going to say that about me.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so many times the interviewer just gets in the way, and you're like, shut up, let them talk. So, yeah.
one last question, I guess. Earlier we were saying that like when you apologize for your comedy, you're almost just erasing it from history, right? It's almost like you just kind of cancel everything you just set out, right? I have this thing where I like to push buttons and push boundaries, sort of, I guess. And I like to make things funny that you shouldn't laugh at. How do you feel? Someone that comes from like, I mean, are you someone that gets easily offended?
I don't. I feel like. What are you getting at? Because this feels
like-
a little targeted. Like, what are you trying to
Like
say?
I went to what's that? What's the open mic with like the wolf? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh! I think
it's
they
an
closed
alt
down.
room.
I think they closed down. I think I know what you're talking
Really? I
about.
was just there like 2 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Remember that joke that I asked you about?
Tell
I
the
was like,
joke.
I'm
I'll tell
trying-
you if it's rude. Go for it. Do it.
Was it the idea of a joke, and I shot it down?
It's like a roofie rape joke.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all, sister.
But
I feel like rape jokes can only be told from survivors. Like, I feel like
That's what I feel like. And like
that's
in
the
the open
angle.
mic world, it's been an issue, I think. And like I'm not a mean person. I'm not
I remember what you're talking about. It just
like
came.
I'm not like someone that like makes fun of people. Like I don't like to talk shit
like
on
insult
people.
comedy. Sure.
Yeah, totally. But I think that there's an art to like taking something that shouldn't be laughed at and then making it funny.
Sure. That's what comedy is.
Yeah, it's what tragedy plus time.
Has there ever been anyone like in an open mic setting that has like offended you?
We just talked about that. Yeah.
No, but like to a level to where you don't even like want to like be around
I feel
them.
like I have learned to not take in other people's art as like a I don't know,
An attack.
Yeah, because it's like if they make themselves look bad, they have to sit with it. But like I get to go up and be progressive and be inclusive and funny and honest and weird and authentic, and like that's me. So I feel like if people, you have to sort of own what you're putting out.
Because one reason I haven't been going to a lot of open mics is because that's
a fear.
For whatever reason, that's just what I have always like gravitated towards, was that type of like comedy, right? And I've been thinking like maybe I should change it, because I feel like a lot of people, like I went to that God, I wish I remember what it's called, but I went to that open mic and I think it was an alt room and I didn't know. And I said the joke and people got mad, like really mad.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, like this sucks. And I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I was literally just trying to make people laugh. And that's super hard to do. And I feel like maybe that's why I'm trying it. But also like, and then I thought like, maybe I should just stop trying to do this and like just go a different route with stand up. And then I was like, well, that's like what I feel like that's apologizing in a weird way. And I shouldn't do that, but then also I don't want to like make all these enemies.
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
I think
I'm not a bad person, but like,
yeah. I mean, I think the best comedy, in my opinion, just comes from your vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And like shining a light on things that brought you shame, makes you mad, makes you feel weird. And other people find a release in that because then they're not alone. Like that's the whole thing about storytelling, is that like you get to highlight, I don't know, sadness or trauma or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think comedy is like a version of storytelling, but and people find comfort in knowing that, they're not as isolated as they feel. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know what the joke is that you're wanting to edit or question, but I feel like if it's not coming from an authentic place, then maybe that's why it's not getting the laugh that you want.
I think because you told it to me, and actually Matt had a similar thing, and it wasn't about roofies, it was about strip clubs, which was the premise of it. And he was telling it to me, and I go, why are you doing jokes about strip clubs? We all already know that joke.
Sure, yeah.
We know that it's uncomfortable. We know that you don't really know how to act. You're spending too much money. Like, everybody knows how fake and dumb strip clubs are. People still go, and we don't know, it's like a funny kind of event.
Sure.
But that's been done.
Yeah.
So my point was, like, that's not really coming from you personally. That's kind of...
Half of it was, for me.
Well, because your friends were actually going to strip clubs?
Do you like Anthony Jeselnik or no?
I don't know.
Never
probably.
Listened to
he's
okay.
He's funny.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, he takes stuff that you should not be laughing at, and he makes you laugh at it because of the way he words, and he's a wordsmith.
Sure.
So the joke was something like, all my friends keep trying to tell me to go to strip clubs. They say like for $60 you can get a PJ or whatever, and then I say, why do that when you can get a roofie for $10?
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
And at that, whatever the hell that place was, like the Wolf Pack or something. It was an alt room, I'm pretty sure. No one laughed, and I got a lot of hate, and I left. And
yeah.
And I didn't like.
Did you take the feedback?
No, I'm not trying to. I'm really, truly not trying to like.
Well, what about
piss
that
people
is
off.
funny?
I'm just trying
to you. Like, why would you think that somebody would laugh at that? Especially in the climate that we're in. Like, I think you have to be sensitive.
It's like misdirection, I guess, but also like, and
you do mix misdirection with anything else.
That's one thing.
Sure.
Like, no, I don't have any other.
No, we're not like
bits like that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a story that's from the perspective of someone trying, like, making a joke about roofing me at a like on a date. So I talk about roofing, but it's from the perspective of like, what has happened? Like, what the fuck? So I feel like you can talk about like topics. Like I have sexual assault material, and like that's chill. But like it has to come from a place of lived experience, I think, for it to really land. Otherwise, you're kind of like playing on tropes. Like, have you ever roofied a woman for $10? Like,
no.
Right. So it's like, why are we going here?
Yeah.
Like it just feels like, what's the?
I just wanted to get someone else's perspective that actually is in the grind of
Yeah.
open mics.
Yeah. I mean, I just think I don't know. I mean, I think like the people that find success that I admire are the people that like, I don't know, combine being funny with being super honest, but also with being like thoughtful and progressive. Like those are the comics I gravitate towards. So that's what I try to emulate in my stand-up. But, you know, you get to choose what kind of career you want. I just think that, I don't know, progressive comedy just seems to get the Netflix specials. So, like, why not shoot for that?
And I think if you're going to say something, I find so many things that comedians say when they put it in a certain light, they like bring the, you know, the problems or the injustices to light in a funny way where you're like, oh, why are we doing that? Like, that's so idiotic.
Sure.
It makes you like rethink these whatever's going on, like when, you know, Seinfeld's airline food, it's like, oh yeah, it is bad or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
But, you know, when you find new things to, you know, discover and like shine light on, like roofing and raping jokes, it's like, we've heard those.
Sure, yeah.
It's not a new perspective on that subject.
Yeah.
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 It's also like very violent and like, you know, rape.
Totally.
Like rape is like, oh, what do we want to be the king of rape jokes?
Totally.
Yeah.
What have we earned from this other than being akin to a rapist? Like if
And
a
then
rapist is like, I can relate to you, like how are we doing in our lives? Like,
And then
I
coming
don't
from me,
know.
it's even worse.
Yeah.
And like, it's just something, it's like, I guess I was going for more of like the art of it, like of misdirection, but it's not even that good of a joke.
You can, like I said, you can misdirect with a lot
with
of
any
stuff.
stuff.
everything.
That doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the topic.
And like,
But it's good that you know that's skill. Like if you know that you're like, oh, misdirection is a thing, let's set up, and then I'll like surprise. Like that's like the most simple form of a joke. So you
Yeah.
can apply that to literally anything.
no, I know. And like,
Like I feel like the stuff you're talking about, like when someone called you a fatso or whatever, that's like mine are from that material. Like
oh, no. I do.
Yeah.
I mine it from everything, but like, I guess since I'm so new at stand-up, I haven't been doing it that long.
Sure.
I guess I'm still trying to find like my voice. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
But like the hate that I got for that joke that one time, I was like, whoa, that
Like,
sucks.
yeah,
I
sure.
didn't mean to really like offend anybody.
Yeah, like,
I
you
was just
generally
trying to
felt
like,
bad.
I really did feel bad.
Good.
And
Well, no, I'm saying like
No,
you should
you
learn from that.
should
No,
I'm
feel
saying you should
bad.
learn from that.
No, and then,
like it
like-
shouldn't be like a deterrent, but
and then
like
I was
oh.
when I left, I remember thinking like I gotta like not do first of all that joke, and then second of all I can't do anything like that anymore. But then I was like, but why? You know, but why? Because you're taking something that's a touchy subject, and you want to like try to make it funny, but like
then you really got to do more work on a
no,
new
totally.
perspective.
But then I was like, if I do stray from that stuff and don't talk about that kind of stuff anymore, am I apologizing in a way, or am I just
No, I think you're just
choosing the right path?
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're choosing.
I don't
the
think
path.
you're apologizing. I think
Yeah.
you're just, you got to find better
I mean,
material.
there's-
Yeah, because it's not that good of material in the
No.
first place. It's not like I'm sitting on like a gold mine of jokes that are offensive or anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's plenty of comics. I mean, I don't know. Cameron Esposito just put out a new special. It's like it's called Rape Joke, and like it's an hour thing. She talks about like being raped in college, but she brings light and brings like a different nuance, and it's super
Yeah.
funny and super. I don't know, just it's really well done. Wanda Sykes has an amazing gang rape joke. Like if you're looking for clever, well-worded rape jokes that aren't from the perspective of wanting to rape a lady and laugh at it, that's like there's good content like that out there. But if you're trying to like, I feel like dehumanize people in a way that doesn't
Educate.
It's not what
Educate
I'm
doesn't
doing.
anyone.
learn. It
Yeah.
doesn't lighten.
Yeah.
any
It's
load.
It's just pointless and mean.
It's just like being mean.
It's kind of like, you know, kicking somebody while they're down. Is
Yeah.
kind of how it's like lowbrow. Well, not
and it
even
makes you like a
lowbrow.
bully. Like it doesn't make you funny. It makes you like, oh, I don't want to date you. Like that's my.
Totally.
I'm like,
no,
ugh,
totally.
ugh.
And that's not how I want to be perceived.
Yeah, sure.
And I think coming from someone that looks like I do, I feel like that's even worse. Like if it was like maybe like a squirrely little white guy, like maybe it would
No,
be.
I don't even think.
No?
I don't think so. No,
No?
because I honestly think I feel like men. I mean, that was the thing with like before Louis C.K. was revealed as Louis C.K. A lot of his material was just like I felt like talking about like being like basically the stereotype of a mom. Like he was just talking about raising kids, talking about the dynamic of like. I don't know, just like doing mom things as a dad and how hard that is. And so it was like he had a very feminist approach. And because he was a dude talking about it, that felt so progressive. Like I just remember seeing him and just being like, oh my God, my mom could do this set and it would just be as realistic, but because he has like that privilege of being a white dude, he's banking on this, you know? And so it's
I love his bits about his kids.
yeah,
The
it's
one
super
where he's walking
and-
through New York and he's got one here. She can walk, but she won't. She's a bullshitter. And I just like, and this one, I'm just dragging her. Like, I die every time because I totally have heard my parents like talk about me and my sister as those kids. And it's so funny that they just get so angry and they're like, I love you so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So but I'm saying, I think that's like, I just felt like watching him, I was like, wow, my mom could do this. And like, but because he's a white dude of privilege, like he gets to bank on that. So like, if, I don't know, I feel like, I know Aziz Ansari was similar. Like he would do super feminist material and that was like, oh wow, we have a male feminist in the room. What is happening?
Yeah.
And like that was an angle that wasn't tapped into because you go to a lot of mics and people are doing dick jokes for days and that doesn't make you stand out. So I think if you want to be like strategic about like what is nuanced, what'll make you different than the pack, I think I'm like progressive comedy is the way to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I keep thinking about writing a joke and I don't know how to do that, so maybe I'll figure it out. But something about how I'm like, it sucks that I'm white because I'm like, who wants to listen to another white girl? But I'm like, what do I'm white, I'm privileged. It's like I have herpes. Does that make up for all the privilege and the niceties that I have been allowed my whole life? Like
that is a funny
does that bring me down a notch? Yeah. So I don't know how to word it, but I think that's kind of a funny.
There's something there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But then I found out that 1 in 4 people have it. And I went to the gynecologist and she was like, "Oh, do you want me to test for everything?" And I was like, "Yeah, but you don't have to tell me I have herpes. I already know that." And she was like, "Oh, everybody has herpes," and walked out. And I was like, "Fuck, I don't even have that anymore." Like, so yeah,
that's great. That's funny.
If I was gonna go on stage, that's what I would talk about.
That's a good bit. Yeah, definitely. That's a good bit.
Yeah.
All right, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. So if people wanted to find you, Stephanie Wain.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
You are, and it's Stay Funny underscore Wain. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, WAIN.
And I like Stay Funny, Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Super clever.
It's more of a threat to myself. I'm like, keep it together.
You better.
Yeah, I'm like, find the light. Don't stay in the dark. That's what that
So that's your Instagram, and then do you have your website, which hasn't been
updated in a minute? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I'm on Twitter under the same handle.
Okay, cool.
It's consistent.
Everyone who's been on the show has a website that hasn't been touched in a year or two.
Great.
Yeah, that's
fine.
so
Yeah.
true. I'm still working on mine. It's in process. Anyway, thank you, Stephanie,
thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
It was
joining
super
us and having a
fun.
seat. Thank you for listening, because we're going to start talking to our listeners, because I haven't been doing that.
Hey.
I'm just like
Hi,
ignoring
listeners.
that they're there. Thank you guys for tuning
They are
in to
there.
another episode. You can find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms at Have a Seat Podcast. Just look up Have a Seat and you'll find it somewhere, hopefully. Betsy
YouTube,
Hayes
iTunes.
and Anthony Pacheco have been your hosts today. So
Thank you.
thank you.